Hey guys, Tim here, Big Dog Forge. Welcome back to the shop. Pretty excited about this one. This time around we get to finish the bellows. This will be part 2 of building the bellows for the solid fuel smithy. And yeah, we got to put a hinge on the bottom side. We got to put some canvas on it, get some valves in it, put a nozzle on it. We got a lot to do. So we're going to get to it, guys. Stick with me. It should be fun. All right, guys, here we go. It's about 4:30 on a Friday morning. We've got lots to do today, so we need to get moving. I need to install the hinge for the bottom plate, mortise that in, get some canvas on this thing, the leather strips on it, cover the nozzle in leather, and install a steel nozzle adapter, the front end of the bellows. So we're going to go ahead and mortise this in by hand with a chisel. Shouldn't take too long. Getting the outline on the wood there. We'll have to chisel it into the planks. They set a little proud, but the nozzle itself is a little lower, so we're simply going to cut a piece of 1/8 inch plywood to surround that hinge on that side, and we'll glue and screw it down. We'll have to chisel a valley in here, a little void, because we're going to put the protruding knuckle of the hinge downward, so that when we cover it in leather, it's not sticking up and causing a problem or getting in the way. Yeah, it just took a few minutes to get this done. And it was a nice sunrise while I was doing it. It's a little cold out. It's about 38 degrees. And we'll get this screwed down into place. And that'll be the last thing that we'll add to the nozzle into this thing. And we went ahead and built a stand to put this on. And we have a hole that goes all the way through the center plate that our rod goes through to support this thing. And we're going to put 2 short rods, one on either side, just to hold it into our stand so that we can expand the ribs and the bellow plates and all that to get the canvas on. So we're going to go ahead and permanently fix this to the nozzle half, but only temporarily attach it to the top plate, because we're going to take it back apart so we can move it up onto the stand we built. So we're just checking for fit and alignment here. All right, this is the stand we built. We built it on the little metal table we've been using. And we'll put these little short rods in either side. The permanent rod will go all the way through. And then we just screwed a 2x4 to the nozzle in the front. Keep it nice and level. And then we'll start our permanent assembly here. So we're going to put some leather strap hinges on the ribs, and this is just to hold them into place. So we used a little rubber cement to hold them down, and then the staples, and that's just to keep them stable and keep them in alignment while we're putting the canvas on them. They're really not even needed, but they're just helpful to keep the alignment straight. All right, we're permanently attaching this hinge to the top plate now. And you can see we've got the bottom plate already attached. There you go. All right. So now we'll go ahead and install the valves. Now the valves in this case are different. I do my valves completely different than anybody else. They're simply a piece of very soft leather. It's about 10 ounces. And I simply tack all 4 corners down, and the leather is pliable enough that when the air comes up through it, it'll come through all 4 sides, and then the air pressure pushes them down into the hole, and the soft leather seals off those holes. These valves make a little bit of a grunting noise once in a while. They have a unique sound to them. But these are the same valves that were in the other bellows I showed you in the first video that's been hanging on the wall for 20 years, and they still work great. So I've never had problem with this type of valve, and they're super simple. There's no hinges, they don't get too heavy, they don't cause problems. They just work. Alright, these strings are going to keep our ribs equal distance apart while we get our canvas on. And we have about, oh, I don't know, I think I used 1,200, 1,500 staples putting this all together. We got the top stapled on, so now we can sort of drape this down around the rest. And we're going to put 2 layers of canvas on. We do the initial layer, get it all stapled into place, and then we'll put a second layer of canvas over that. I double up on the canvas in case I get a hole somewhere or something happens to it. And we keep our staples very close together. They help seal the airflow. And we're going to trim some of this excess canvas off before we put our second layer on. And you end up pleating the back of these because of the way it's shaped. Alright, now we're going to seal the canvas. We got 2 layers on there, and we're going to take some 100%. Here, and play with the dog for a minute. She's having fun with the paintbrush. Goofy dog. So this is 100% clear silicone sealer, caulking. It's like bathroom tub and window caulk, something like that. And we're going to empty 2 tubes into this coffee can. And we're going to end up making about a 50-50 mix with odorless mineral spirits. What this will do is it'll thin down the silicone so that we can paint it on the canvas. And it'll do 2 things. It'll make it waterproof, so if any water, roof leaks in the shop, anything like that, it won't soak up any water, it'll run off. And we've got our deck sealer on the wood to make it waterproof. The other thing it'll do is it'll help seal up the pores in the canvas, and it'll make it more efficient at moving the air and containing it, compressing the air inside. So it's always a good idea if you're going to use canvas to seal it this way. You can use candle wax and paraffin, mix them together with a little boiled linseed oil. And while it's liquid, you can paint it on. Same situation, but the wax is a little bit of a promoter of fire. So with the canvas and the beeswax, it could turn out badly. So I've done it before. All right, we're covering the nozzle here. Same leather that we used to make the valves out of. And this leather is left over from a project. And I estimated that I used about $15 worth of leather out of that piece. I cut 2 side pieces, and the back half nails into the ribs and the plates, and the front half nails into the nozzle. Now I sprayed a spray adhesive to hold those in place, and I ran a bead of silicone caulking just above the hinge to seal everything off real well. And upholstery nails all the way around. We got that all nailed together, and now we're putting leather strips on, and these are more aesthetic than anything, but we put a nail about every 2 inches, a little upholstery nail, just to hold them in place. They will help seal and hold things together, but if you want a real good seal, you should use wood, but in this case, I won't need it. All right, there's our leather gasket, and this is the nozzle that we made, and we're simply going to lag bolt this to the front of the nozzle. We'll tighten it down on the leather, and that'll give us a good tight seal. And you could build this out of pretty much any kind of lumber you wanted to. I did the laminated the scrap wood together because it was free, and it got me where I needed to go, and it retains these screws really, really well. But you could use pretty much any kind of lumber that you could assemble in this manner. So the pipe and the plate are all scrap that I simply picked up somewhere along the way, came out of the freebie scrap pile. I just cleaned them up on the belt sander. All right, we're going to let the top go. It's about time for some installation here. I think we have a working bellows. Okay, we're going to let some light into the shop. We got a little bit of stuff stacked in here that we moved out of the way so we could do some install. And we got this up on a 6-foot ladder. It's going to hang up in the air. We've got 8-foot ceilings, and the top plate expands 2 feet. So we should have just enough room for our top plate to expand and not hit anything. I built these brackets to hold it up, and the pin's going to go straight through the bellows and through a stud and out the back wall, where we'll put a clevis pin through it on either end so it doesn't slide back and forth. And we decided to put this thing up in the air like this simply to save floor space. The shop's only a 10 by 12, and I'll be able to put my coal bin directly underneath it. There you go, a chubby guy on a ladder. There you go. What do you? Don't fall off. You hurt yourself. You goofy guy. There we go. And this front bracket is nothing more than a ring that fits around the nozzle, and it screws to the rafters. And all these brackets that go up to the rafters have a angle on the top, so they grab the top of the rafter and sit on it. Extra security. All right, this is my lift lever. I always make them long. More leverage on the bellows. They don't tend to pull out or wear out or come loose. We're going to use a piece of wood for the pull handle and a metal connecting rod. And that's about it. We're in business. All we got to do is hook up a pipe. And there you go, guys. All right, guys, there you go. So we have some working bellows. They just need to hook that to the forge with a pipe, and that's something I can do pretty quick and easy. And we're going to do some forging. I've got a special little thing that I want to do for the shop out there as the first project. Not a huge thing, but it'll be a great test run for the forge and the bellows, and that'll be the next video you see coming out. So if you like what you're seeing, guys, why don't you like, share, subscribe, maybe, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Appreciate it. Take care of yourselves and be safe. Bye-bye now.